People seem to think that I'm like, I don't know, Satan or something because I think that Ghostbusters is mediocre at best. Hi everyone, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I am doing my wrap-up for September. September pretty much flew by for me. I honestly can't believe that it's the end of the month because I don't know what happened. I guess most of it was dealing with like my own book launch and then my kids being sick and my eldest entering JK and just like COVID tests and ear infections and all this stuff. So it's just like, oh, I'm just done with September. I'm done with it. Given this will be kind of a short wrap up because most of these books I talked about in like single book reviews or something, I decided to explain my newer approach to rating and reviewing. So giving stars, like a star rating, is getting harder and harder. Even though I have my chart, where I try to be objective, giving different categories the same weight, I find it's not really, it's not really helpful to give stars sometimes because I find that I kind of massage my opinions on certain aspects so it matches the star rating that I like, even if I'm not doing this consciously. So I think I'm just not going to give stars when I do reviews. I mean, if you want stars, you can go to Goodreads because I'm going to have to give stars on there. But I'm just going to, and I'm continue doing it for the rest of the year on my chart anyway, just so I can do my stats in December because I like doing that kind of thing. But I'm not going to be talking about them in the channel. So if you were really curious and you really want to know what I gave it, you can make a comment and I will reply as to what I thought the stars were. But yeah, I'm just going to say that I'm not going to say like, I give this book blah, blah, blah stars at the end of my reviews anymore. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, maybe I will change my mind about this and go back to giving stars, but I don't know. It's just a new thing I'm going to try to do. Anyway, so what books did I read in September? The first book I read was Summer Suns by Lee Mandello, which is a Southern Gothic LGBT plus coming of age novel. So if you want to see my review about that, you can check it out in my single book reviews feed. You can also find in that feed my review of The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling, which is another Gothic horror, but this one was set in alternative Victorian England. I was like, why did these all come out September and October? And I was like, oh, because they were arcs, so they actually are coming out in October. That makes sense. Anyway, I also read 2 classic sci-fis this month. I read Dune with the Intergalactic Book Club, which was our book club book, and I was part of the discussion. We had a live feed discussion about it, so I posted a link to that there. You can also find the link on my Dune review, which garnered me my first real annoyed comments on my channel. I mean, I was expecting that. I mean, not like I care. More views, right? And I mean, I'm not going to change my opinion on Dune because some guy in the comment says something silly. But I was expecting to get a lot of kind of vitriolic responses to Dune because as soon as you touch that book or that movie, people get very, very offended about it. It's like when I say that I don't like Ghostbusters. People seem to think that I'm like, I don't know, Satan or something because I think that Ghostbusters is mediocre at best. Like, I don't know. I never liked it as a kid. It was not, so I don't have any kind of a nostalgia for it. So people though get all annoyed. I try to tell people, like, just because I'm ambivalent to the movie doesn't mean that A, I hate it, and B, I hate you. Like, people don't have to like the same things, and people can get different things out of books. Just because when I read Dune now, as opposed to when I was 15, I did a more of a feminist take on it because that's kind of what interests me. Doesn't mean I think other people are stupid for, not reading it that way. Like, it's just a critical take on a novel. It's not like, I'm attacking people, but people get so upset. Anyway, I thought that was amusing. And then I also read this book. Oh, here it is. I also read The Bones of Zora by Elle Sprague de Camp and Catherine Cook de Camp. I'm going to post a review about this on Thursday. Spoiler alert, it is not what you think. It is kind of boring. Anyway, I also read one more book, and that was called The Cabinet by Eun Sun Kim, translated by Sean Lynn Halbert. This is a speculative fiction that comes out in 2021. It was first published in 2006, and this is by Angry Robot because, as you know, I'm auto-approved by them on NetGalley. As you expected, I received this book from NetGalley in exchange for a fair review. Thank you to Angry Robot for the e-arc. Cabinet 13 looks exactly like any normal filing cabinet. Old Bessie back here. Except this cabinet is filled with files on the symptomers, humans whose strange abilities and bizarre experiences might just mark the emergence of a new species. But to Mr. Kong, the harried office worker whose job it is to look after the cabinet, the symptomers are a headache, especially the one who won't stop calling every day, asking to be turned into a cat. Obviously, this is why I read this. I like weird books about innocuous things. Unfortunately, while I found the book was delightfully quirky, I was not compelled to finish past 40%. So I DNF'd this. The style of the novel was too disjointed for me to be interested in returning to it, and the writing style didn't suit my taste. While we do have a main character in the novel, obviously, usually we do, he is so very uninteresting and passive that he lacked any sort of draw for me. Likewise, we get so many strange little vignettes that they often lacked cohesion. I kept wondering, what was tying them all together. If something does end up tying them together, it takes far too long for this to happen because it didn't happen when I was reading it. So I think the problem with this book for me was that I found it either too weird or too tame. There wasn't like a good balance for me in that regard, or perhaps the oddities in it just weren't to my taste. It also felt like magical realism to me at some points, and rather than surreal. And the former genre is one I generally can't stand, if you know, because I've mentioned this on my channel many times that I don't like magical realism. I do like surrealism, but I don't like magical realism. There's a kind of a weird difference between the two, and that's something that I think I'd like to discuss sometime on a video, but not today. Not after my week of sick children, my 2 weeks of sick children. Anyway, that being said, I don't think there's anything wrong with the book. I think a lot of people will like it. It just wasn't for me. So, yeah. As I said, that was quick. Those were all the books I read in September. I'm hoping to read a couple more. I'm already almost through one, and it's only the first when I'm filming this. I'm filming on Friday, so I have time to edit it for Tuesday. Usually I don't film so far ahead, but that's fine. Again, I'm just being prepared that children are going to interrupt my schedule here. Yes, that's what they do. That's what happens when you have kids. Your schedules get all messed up. I think what I'm going to do is, I've already got my TBR kind of set for November. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mood read December. So I'm just going to read whatever I feel like in December. I'm not going to plan anything out and see what happens there and see what I pick up. Because I have a whole stack of TBR back there. That whole thing is just my next kind of reads. And then I have that other stack, which is all classic sci-fi stacks. And then, yeah, don't ask what I'm doing here. I'm going to attempt to foray into TikTok, and I don't know if it's going to work. If it does, I will mention it in my next video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and let me know if you've read any of these books. Actually, if you have, just talk about it on those videos instead. Thank you.